Hi everyone, this is Tina. Thank you for tuning into Heart2Heart Pod. So in this episode, I'm going to introduce you to my podcast. I'm going to briefly go over what Heart2Heart Pod is about, what inspired me to start it, and what my goals are for this podcast. Thank you everyone for all your support. The Heart Pod is a safe space for two brave souls to have honest and vulnerable conversations to connect and heal their hearts. It will be myself and another guest who will be having this conversation, and I love to have one-on-one deep, meaningful conversations. So this is where the idea came about. Sometimes I'll have solo episodes where it will be just me talking to you. And topics that I will cover for this podcast will be travel, personal growth, and career development, which are topics that I like to write about. So what sparked this passion project? A little bit about myself. I love to read and write, and I love stories. I also love listening to podcasts, and a lot of what I tune into is on self-development and lifestyle design. And I also love to attend events where there's a panel speaking and the panel is filled with inspiring, passionate, and like-minded individuals who share their experiences, the struggles that they had to overcome, and accomplishments that they had, and as well as advice that they would give to other people on how they came to be who they are today. So anything to do with self-development, I really like to learn about. And also, I know a few people who launched their own podcasts. So when I first knew about this, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. And then one day I was on a call with a friend, just catching up with him, and I was like, hey, did you know that our mutual friend started their own podcast? And I was like, oh, I'd love to be a guest on a podcast someday. And he was like, Tina, why don't we start one? So I was like, oh, yeah, why not? Right? So sometimes you just got to give yourself permission to do something now rather than later, especially if it's, on your bucket list and the idea is exciting for you. So yes, I am starting two podcasts. The other one I'm co-hosting with my friend. And so this idea, it stayed in my mind throughout the year. And the more I think about it, the more excited I get. So actually, the idea for Heart2Heart Pod came closer towards the end of the year because I wasn't exactly sure if I was going to continue with my other one with my friend. Our schedules were so hectic, and he lives in a different country too. But I am super excited to launch Heart2Heart Pod just because it covers a variety of topics that are relatable to all of you about our daily lives, right? So I also have goals for this podcast, which is my motivator to start this and continue it. And my first goal is I want to become a better communicator. So I want to be a more confident and articulate communicator. And a little bit of a backstory. For those of you who know me personally, and especially when I was younger, I was extremely shy and I had a lot of difficulty expressing my thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and it was a huge struggle. But over time, it did get better, but there is always a lot to improve when it comes to communication, right? So things like listening skills and asking the right questions, learning to carry a conversation, all of those things. My second goal is to embrace vulnerability. So my word for 2021 is vulnerability. I want to have more honest and open conversations with the people in my life and be able to own my story and share it. My third goal is I want to build greater self awareness. So, by having these conversations and this podcast, I think it would help for me to learn more about myself and others around me. And my fourth goal is to nurture the relationships I have with my guests. So, my guests will be my friends or people that I would love to get to know better. And it will be so great to learn from their perspectives, which is so important. And number five, um, I hope that this will make some sort of impact. And I hope that these conversations I have will be relatable to you listeners and you will feel less alone. You and I will feel less alone because we are all in this together and we are more similar and connected than we know. So maybe this will inspire you to start your own passion project. And finally, number six, at the end of the day, this podcast is for me. So I want to have fun and I want to have fun with the process while doing this. And I hope that, the guests on my podcast will have fun too, that, it's just casual conversation with me and you can share it with your family and friends. Well, thank you for listening to my first episode. And if you would like to connect with me, you can connect with me on Instagram at _Tina Adventures 1A. And you can also follow me on my website, tinaadventures.com. Make sure you tune into my second episode, which is about cultivating self-love. And we all know how important that is. And we always need reminders to practice self-love. Okay, thank